we're looking at enhancing our workflows with automations. The goal is to split out actions in automations, so having more workspaces in your automation to build out, and updating your current workflow. So updating maybe your current workflows for those that are using FME Flow job submitters. It can be tedious in the beginning, but it'll be better for scaling and maintenance in the long run. And in the future, with going with automations job chaining, it'll be easier to, once again, share with your team and maintain and build out that way. So ultimately, it'll result in a workflow that's easy to build, maintain, and scale. I'm just going to jump and share my screen again. All right, so this is a third iteration of that same automation that we started off in the beginning of today's webinar, but now I have two more workspaces that I've added on top here, the file mover that is going to run in parallel with the invoice extraction workspace that we originally updated. And then from there, we're going to chain another workspace to run a Slack notification message to update the Slack channels that we're looking for. So the first workspace, we're going to take that incoming file that's been updated in our directory and copy and move it to the next directory, maybe to another Teams folder, and have that automated. And then once that's moved, then we can send out a Slack notification notifying the team of what file has been moved to their directory if they need. I can open up my workspaces really quickly just to showcase what that looks like. They're fairly simple. So this first one is moving a file, and it's using the directory and file reader to read in that file that's coming into the directory. We're just managing some of those attributes and cleaning them up. And then we're using this feature writer transformer that lets us write to any format that we're looking for, but also allows for further processing with an output port. So we're using the file copy, and we're going to copy that file out to another directory. And let me see, for the data set, yep, we're taking that data set, and then we're going to write it out. And we also have an automations writer here just to grab some of that attribute from that file to be used later on. And then in the third workspace, it's just a small, quick and easy transformer. We're starting off with the creator to kick off that workspace, and then using a Slack connector transformer to connect to our Slack and select the channel that we're interested in. We have two options. We can send a message or file upload. And then for that message that we're looking for, I'm going to use a user parameter so that we can change this message and customize it in the automation when we're there. So once we publish both these workspaces to FME Flow, then we can link them up here, as I've done so here. And from that success port, we're linking that file mover, and it'll move that file accordingly. And from this automations writer output port, we're going to send out that Slack notification. So in this first workspace with the file mover, we're reading in that file from the directory, and then also we're going to write to a different directory here. So I've selected a folder that I've created for it. And then once that's set, then I will send out a Slack notification. Let me open the text editor, and you can build out this message. I wanted to include maybe the file name that's been moved to this directory, and also what automation is this message coming from. And these are just grabbed from these attributes in the side panel here. Apply. And splitting out these workspaces is great because you can use them and reuse them across your automation or across multiple automations. So if I wanted to send out different Slack notifications depending on the success or failed port, then we can definitely reuse and build it out this way. Slack message, and instead of having this message, we can configure it to say it's successful. There's a successful move to this file, for this file to this directory. Or you can also send it to the output port here. Wait, from the failed output port, then we can use that Slack notification again and say the file moved did not succeed, and someone can go and look into it and send that Slack notification. And we also have some error attributes as well that we can include. All right, so I won't use that for now. So we'll continue, we'll click Start Debug, and then I'll go back to that resource and showcase what that looks like with that Slack message and file being moved. I'll first have to delete that message, that initial invoice, and I'll update it again. Let's remove this. Let's make sure the folder that I'm looking to move that file in is up to date. That's looking good. So now that my automation started, I'm going to add a new file up here. And then once that's triggered, it'll kick off that automation and proceed to move that file, but also send out that email and send out that Slack notification. Let's refresh. That file is going through this automation. Let's go back to resources, data, to that second directory that I'm looking to have that file in. So I can showcase what that looks like in the Slack message and the email there. So let me open my Slack, and as you can see, this is the channel I'm writing to. As you can see, this is the message that we'll see. So the invoice moved to the FMeFlow directory, the directory that is selected, and then the file name is here, and the automation name that I've selected is here as well. And then from the email, it'll be the same email that we've seen earlier, and it'll showcase customer ID, that total, and that invoice reference number as well. So if I had more maybe logging in my automation from the failed ports, then I would be able to get those notifications as well and build out a more comprehensive automation that way.